recently on a page that I follow about a kind of doll that I collect, and I've collected since I was a teenager. Someone had put up a general post asking if there was other things that we maybe collected, and really it was just other dolls for the main, different kinds of other dolls that people also collected. I only collect one kind of dolls, so the only other thing I could think of that I collect, besides the books, I mean, it seemed like a given, was the mourning jewellery, the Victorian mourning jewellery. And I did do something of a show and tell at the end of the death customs in Scottish history video I did, part 2 of that. At the end of part 2 I did a show and tell of the items that I had and the items that had been appearing during the video. I thought, I've not really done a standalone show and tell of these things. I did bring them to the Bridgeton History group. There's a video posted of my show and tell over at the Bridgeton History group. That was back in June of last year, I think. And I brought the mourning jewellery to show people, and they quite liked that I still made use of some of the items, that they retain a purpose. They're not just something to commemorate a stranger that's just been locked up and put away. It's, you know, they see the light of day as part of the Random Scottish History collection. It's part of the things that people can come around and have a look at and touch and see when they're coming to visit me here at the headquarters. So when I did an answer to the post, I didn't put any photos or anything. I just said it's probably not what you're looking for, but I collect mourning jewellery from the 19th century, and another person had responded saying, oh, I've got a Victorian mourning brooch that I was gifted. So I was like, oh, I'll show you mine if you show me yours, kind of thing, you know. So I'd started taking photographs of the items, but I felt like in photos I wasn't able to capture all the wee details because it would just be so many photos of. I just felt like video was a better format for it. So I videoed a short response, going through the things, and then I realised I had forgotten one of the items. I thought I should probably do another show and tell, just a proper show and tell just of the mourning jewellery, and a new wee Mochlin ware item that I obtained, which symbol many take fittingly as you know, time running out, an end to something, you know, death as an anthropomorphized figure will usually have the person's egg timer or hourglass in his hand. So I obtained this Mochlin ware egg timer, this Mochlin ware hourglass, and I haven't done the test yet to see exactly how long it runs for. It'd be interesting if it was an hour. I think it's faster than that. It's very small, but it's absolutely beautiful. The wee glass middle piece that contains the sand, it's not fixed to anything, it's just set in 2 dimples within the top and tail of the hourglass. But it's so beautiful, it's such a nice wee thing, and for it to have survived as long as it has, I mean, that's a testament to Mochlin ware. It's usually ash or maple wood. Maple was particularly favoured because it's very pale, and in being very pale you could put, well, whatever transfers or pictures you want on it, and it would stand out nicely against the pale background. And they would lacquer the finished product, then lacquer it again, then lacquer again. There was weeks between each process to make sure it really dried and hardened, and it made Mochlin ware just super durable. I have a show and tell video talking about this box, talking about my 3 Mochlin ware books, a photo album, Mary Queen of Scots and Walter Scott. So feel free to head over there if you want to see a wee bit more about Mochlin. We've come across Mochlin twice now too in our Aki's Tours Out and About videos. We came across examples at the New Lanark School House and at the Tenement House in Glasgow. So, but again, those are videos that you can go and have a wee look at if that interests you, seeing what I get up to in my spare time. So we're going to talk about mourning jewellery and items that you could have made as commemorative items for a dearly departed person in your life. Usually a spouse, also commonly children. You would have photos. I have 2 dubious examples of the dead child phenomenon in pictures. Now, I talked about this in the death customs video I did, where I show those photos. I'll not show them here, but I don't go for, when I'm looking for these things on auction sites, I'm not looking for obvious dead humans in pictures. I find that the stranger side of the phenomenon. There are pictures where the children are made to look alive. They have their eyes open, they're wearing makeup, or the pictures have been colour tinted to make them seem more with us. And they'll maybe be sat amongst brothers and sisters. Perhaps they'll be cradled in the arms of a parent, but you can't always tell, and that's why I have those 2 photos, is because they could very well be living children, but they make a nice example without being too graphic and being too obvious of that type of commemorative item. So it's really for the purposes of show and tell without triggering anything in folk. We try to be family friendly here. So we'll get into the jewellery specifically. Again, if you want to have the real full rundown, that's in part 2 of the Death Customs in Scottish History video in the Show and Tell playlist, or the Independence Live playlist, I'm not entirely sure. So I had in the Death Customs video brooches as well that were Victorian. They were made with the use of human hair, and those had been purchased for a very good friend elsewhere in another country, and so I don't have those here to show you, but again, they are part of that previous video. There are items here that weren't in the video, my hourglass and this item. So we'll start with our favourites. So this was discussed in my introduction to Yvette, or Corpse video. Yvette, my very helpful production assistant, ever present. So because she wears this attached to a silver belt that she has. She doesn't these days because her kittens were eyeing it up a little too much, and I thought I don't want to give it a chance of being got at by the cats, so it's been taken from a vet and also away from the kittens, spared. So this was sent from Ireland. It's made of human hair, braided, and it has gold fittings. Now I have emailed a couple of companies that went with the initials engraved on the gold, but I wasn't receiving any positive responses. I was looking to find out a wee bit more, maybe who it was made for. The guy I got it from in Ireland had got it as part of a house clearance. He's not entirely sure who the locket features. He had supposed that it could be a lord of the place, maybe a duke of some sort. I had a wee look, maybe. I'm not convinced. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's a nice thing. It has all of these beautiful wee details. So let's have a wee look here. Now, here you have who I assume to be the husband and his wife. Now, I believe that the hair this is made from is this woman's, purely just due to the length of it. And it being a pocket watch, it's very well been this gentleman here who's had this pocket watch strap made as a mourning commemoration item for his wife. Here, good looking couple. Got all these wee details. Yeah, I'm not sure how well that's showing up for you. You see how delicately the hair's been woven together. You can see all the depth in it. These wee designs. Again, the same style of braiding. Quite a uniform colour of hair. It's attached ooze to it over its lifetime, apparently. Don't know if I can even get that out or whether it's part of the weave. There we go. It's just all the wee details in the making of it, the braiding of it. It's just incredible, you know. There's that. And again. Next we'll have this one. Now, I'm not taking these out in any order. But this makes for an interesting piece because of the difference in weaving styles throughout it. It's very intricate. Oh, it was intricate, but this is nice for showing you kind of, again, just the details and the options that people had when making these things. So again, this is gold fittings. I'm loving this waffle chain weave. Then we've got a different form of the spiral we saw just previously there. And again, you can see the depth right in it. That just waffle chain link again. Wonder how long these things took. So this will have had another attachment, maybe for the watch itself. And this one's really nice because you don't usually get blonde, and it's a lot of very uniform blonde hair in this one. No pictures to show us who this might have been. Again, I assume it was a male buying this from the preserved locks of a female loved one. That's a really beautiful example of the pocket watch straps that were made. I'll bring this one next because it's also blonde. Now this isn't as fancy, this one. You'll see that the fittings are quite plain here, you know. So there's not markings. I think it's silver. Silver fittings. Very simple. Again, it's strange for the fact that it's blonde or white, grey hair. It was mostly brown and dark hair, at least in the examples I've seen. Again, you can see the depth in it. This one is one that I think I wore wrapped twice around my wrist in the Death Customs video. It's quite a nice wee thing to wear as like a bracelet. You know, it's very wearable. This has also gold fixture. The hair has been fashioned into tighter little braids here. I don't know if it was maybe one long braid they've made that has been looped around inside the gold, or whether they're maybe 4 separate or 2 separate braids. I'm not taking it apart to find out. So this one, again, gold fixtures, wee hearts to either end, little gold clasps. I think this was just to make it more robust and ensure that the braids frayed less. Have the gold fitting in the middle here, which is mirrored on each side. Of the hair, little gold emblems at the end. Again, for the length of hair, we're either talking parents of a child, perhaps that's why they're such fine wee braids, maybe the hair was quite delicate still, or a husband for a wife here. Again, that's purely just due to the length of hair. That's what I'm basing this on. It does look like a piece that could have been made for a woman, which was why the thought of it possibly being a child who had been lost came to mind. The mother might want something like this to be made to commemorate her daughter or son. I think, as far as I'm aware, the boys wore their hair quite long, and they wore dresses. There was an age at which, I'm not sure if it was like 4, 5, 6 years old. There's an age to which a boy, when he had got through the first few years of his life, he'd made it, so to speak, because child mortality was just extraordinary back in the Victorian era. They would be trousered and given their first pair of trousers to wear. Until then, they'd be in dresses along with their sisters. And we have this. Now, this is more glamorous, much more glamorous. You can see we have beaded tassels, we have kind of knotted bundles of, I don't believe it's hair, I think it's maybe cotton or some other material that's been kind of fashioned into this jewellery. So I believe this was made for a woman, because it just looks like a dress piece, doesn't it? It looks like something you would wear on a night out, something to show that you had money for baubles and trinkets, doesn't it? Now, again, I don't believe this is hair. If it is, it's been treated in a way that I've not come across. It doesn't feel like hair. It's very smooth. It could be. I'm not ruling it entirely, but my money's on the fact that it's not. And this guy is what I'm most interested in. Now, this also fits with the fact that this was a woman that had this made. It's unlikely that the husband would have enough hair to be able to fashion into a full pocket fob strap. I think that she's had one of his teeth removed. This is like a molar tooth by the looks of it that's been carved into this cute wee skull. Nee, look at that face. He's so cute. So instead of hair here, we have a different remnant of this deceased person. And she's chosen something of a unique way to commemorate him, while still remaining fashionable. Because this has nowhere where you would have a watch. This goes in your buttonhole, and this would clip onto your belt to your waist. So, yeah, this is a nice piece. I enjoy this one. Now, for our boxed item here, we have a ring to finish us. Now, again, I don't have any brooches. I've given the brooches to a friend who also has a fondness for collecting these wee items. This, I couldn't tell you whether this is lacquered hair or not, maybe waxed hair of some kind. These black wires. I don't know what this substance is. It could be lacquered hair, just as a way to add it to the gold chains and create a ring out of it. But this was a mourning ring, gold fixtures again. Sometimes wear it, not often. I don't like the idea of hurting the gold chains because they're very delicate, and I don't like the idea of harming any of my collection. I do my very best to keep them all good for as long as they're with me, which is why Yvette has lost her pocket watch. Bob, I'm sorry, my love. She was devastated, as you can tell. You know, she has a very expressive face, Yvette. So these are my pieces. But I did get a further one, which was interesting for the same reason as the blonde one was. It was the difference in technique and design of these. Now, I don't know how this is held up for as long as it obviously has. Can you see that it's like these little ethereal balls made from the hair? and it appears as though it may have been a necklace rather than a watch fob. I'm not certain. It looks like there's an appendage missing here, some kind of attachment missing here. There doesn't appear to be a way to open or close it. These sides are attached. Look at these balls, and they're hollow. I don't know if it's starch or maybe some kind of waxing technique. I don't know. But look how crazy intricate that is. And the fact that they're still balls, they've not collapsed, they've not been smooshed in all this time. This is the only real damage to it, is where it's come away here at this fitting. I think that's incredible how well that stood up. So a lot of work has gone into that. I'm not entirely sure how that was done. I'm very impressed by this one. It feels delicate. I mean, everything about it just feels like it could just crumble in your hands. It's much more robust than you'd think, but I'm definitely more wary over handling this one than my other bits and pieces. So we just have the one left, and it came in the same box, which I'll show you in a wee minute. It is a wee bit destroyed, and again, it's like a bubble of hair here. This looks to be a bracelet. So again, the fixtures are fixed. There's no way to open and close them. Now, we've got this bubble here of hair which has started fraying and falling apart, attached by these, could be silver fixtures. I don't know, this doesn't seem like silver, but I don't know why they would put like a baser metal, so to speak, on something that so much time and effort has gone into making so intricate. You have these, which are hollow weave of hair again. So these are hollow tubes of the woven hair. And then again, you've got the main part, which I can stretch out a little to let you see. I don't want to hurt it. So I assume you'd have been able to put it on with the fact that it was so stretchy. See? That would allow you to put it over your hand and wear it. How incredible is that? The fact that it's lasted for so long. I wonder whose it was. I wonder who they lost and how long this took to make. How much did it cost people? Was it something that was so common and expected that it was a fairly cheap option for people to do, since they were providing the materials, really besides the fixtures? You'd have to provide, obviously, your loved one's hair. You'd need the forethought to obtain your departed relative's hair in order to then have it made into something like these. I wonder if there are people that still do this kind of work for others. It's still a common thing to have people who will have a loved one's lock of hair in a locket. In a ring, you have jewellery with enclosed spaces for photographs and hair, maybe a tooth, or something. I think you can have teeth turned into jewellery, I'm sure of that. But I am not entirely sure if you can still have hair jewellery made. at least to the standard that we're seeing in some of these pieces. I mean, this one alone just astounds me at how much effort has gone into this. How perfect it is, considering they were working with hair. You know, these people were masters at what they did. So I wonder if it's still an option now. It's not something that I've looked into. I've not had anyone pass where I would have the opportunity or inclination to obtain their hair to turn into anything. But I'm sure there are people that would be interested in that kind of service. I don't know what kind of training you would need. It could be an interesting sideline for a hairdresser to take up on the side, maybe. I suppose that would also be practice for them, as well as providing a service. I wonder if it's a niche option for somebody. The box that this came in is, it's a little bit busted. It's really nice nouveau. Nouveau was late 19th, early 20th century. Larkin and Co. Buffalo. I'm not sure what this had said previously, but I may be able to find intact images of boxes similar to this one from the same company. It might give us a wee idea of what kind of year these people were operating in. Maybe there's something that tells us a little more about the services they provided. They were very good at what they did, regardless. So that is my Mourning jewellery presentation of my bits and pieces, along with my new hourglass. I still don't know how long it takes before it runs out. I may test it at some point. So stay well, look after each other, and I will see you again for the next one. Take care.